All right, well, let's kick things off with our first set here. Delthius versus Marius CLN. Alec, what do you know about Delthius here in the red?
I know that Delthius is the greatest tooth and tail streamer of all time, and we have perhaps deprived this audience of a fantastic Delthius cast, but I don't think he'd cast his own.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. We love Delthius streams. Tooth and Tail TV, if you haven't seen it before, it's crazy. You definitely should head over on YouTube and on Twitch, Tooth and Tail TV. Delthius is actually in my group. I'm in a group with both of these players, and this is my first time ever seeing Marius CLN, unless they used to go by a different name. So I'm excited to scout out the gameplay because I've played everyone else in the group, but not Marius here in the blue. What do you make of the decks?
Well, I see they've both taken squirrels and pigeons and falcons, and the shakeup is in moles, skunks, boars for Delthius, and cams, boar, or excuse me, they both take the boar, cams and wolf for Marcus.
Marius.
Marius, excuse me. Marius.
All right, yeah, so it's a wolf
This is
deck
going to be a great
with
cast.
chameleons versus a skunk deck from Delthius and some moles. And it looks like Delthius starting off with skunks with his tier 2 opening. Marius starting off with tier 1. Now, one thing I'm seeing is that the bases are very close here. If Marius actually wants to push, let's say he puts down, I guess he put down his own tier 2, so it's not going to happen. But I feel like with the skunk lead, it's possible there was a timing to put down 2 or 3 of those squirrel warrens and take out one of these farms here. Didn't happen though, so
It's something that I've seen a little bit more recently, the tier 2 rush. And I don't know if it's well advised, especially when they're so close, but he's gotten away with it. There's no problem here.
yeah, I mean the top players know when to pull it off. This is a very short map. I think it was a little bit risky, but at the end of the day, Delthius is not punished for that, so they're both going to square off with even tier 2 counts.
Yeah. So one thing that's significant here, at least at the beginning, is this matchup between skunks and cams. And I do not like skunks in that matchup terribly.
Really? Yeah, I mean if the community can get on top of them, I think it's pretty devastating, but let's say that somehow Marius comes from this high ground here, or he comes from this high ground here and he sets up with those skunks. Yeah, that would be pretty rough. Oh, but it's Delthius who has the skunks, so I guess, yeah, there's this
Oh, and
nice
they are
hill here.
both pushing for tier 3. My
Good
goodness.
spot. Okay, so in this situation, the maps are so close together, both players are on one base. We're already over 3 minutes in, no one's got a second mill. I like the boar here. I like the boar from Delphius a lot better for this short map, right? There's no way that there's going to be enough tier 2 to make this wolf very effective, right?
I think that I agree. I mean, the boar is definitely a more threatening initial pick. You just get a lot of combat strength from that boar.
Yeah, it comes out,
The
it's already full
wolf
strength.
needs other units. It needs help from other units in order to be effective. I'm looking at this map, and my goodness, I don't like the expansions for either of them.
I don't know, I think it would be
I
pretty
think
easy to
that
take a ninja
Delphius has it
base.
a little better.
You could just take a random base over here, and I don't think it's too hard to go across. Especially, yeah, either one of them. They're pretty far. It's like if the opponent wants to go out of the way and try and take out your second base, you're gonna lose. They're gonna lose their first base.
Hmm.
But we can see a huge
But
problem, which
both,
is Marius was supply blocked. The wolf isn't even out yet, and he also doesn't have all his tier 2. Meanwhile, the boar is on the way, so I think we're about to see a big attack. Marius isn't here.
yeah, this might be a wipeout. Oh my goodness.
The boar rush just in time to soak up everything, the chameleons, and yeah, this is GG. So I think this was just a tier 3
Wow.
diff. Well, it's
Yeah,
not just
yeah, the
that.
order in which they took out those units. The wolf did come out at the very end, but I mean, you can see that spike in the unit composition with the boar uh, right there on the chart.
Yeah, there was actually about almost 30 seconds of difference between the tier three, and that also might have cost Maris. Like, there's definitely a chance if he had the wolf up at the same time as the boar while it's marching across the map, he's powering up his units, and maybe he is able to hold it off. But here we go into
Ah, a
game
little bit of
two.
a shakeup.
Delphius going for a fox deck. He's feeling good. We love to see the fox,
Now
don't we?
here, these players they've got a fair bit more space. To my eye, some expansions that are a little bit more natural and more defensible. I
Yeah, which ones
wonder
do you
if they'll
like?
take the same tact. I think that for Marius, I like that expansion. I'd say
Down here.
immediately to the north of
Oh,
his
up here.
base.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that pocket base. I like the high ground around the northern base, though they both have high ground,
Yeah, but there's a nice
and
moat
I
here.
like
I think you're right. That's a pretty good one.
yeah,
It'd be really
it's
hard to
very
attack
defensible.
into. I mean, Delthius has a nice setup as well. They are pretty close, but there's enough water in between that it kind of feels like no one's going to be raiding very easily.
Right. Now, I don't know if this will be important, but Marius does have a little bit of land on Delthius, so he wouldn't be stuck in the water at the time he's moving up that high ground. Versus Delthius would be pushing through the water
You're talking about
to
right here.
climb and
Yeah,
attack a mill,
that's
right?
true. But, if you have to retreat, you're still about to die in this mode, so.
Right. And there are other ways around. You can go to the north and to the south, but that's more circuitous. I don't know if they'll take those routes.
Yeah, if I was attacking, I would want to come around the south. But I think in this game, even though the map is so close, their borders are touching, both players recognize it's too hard to attack, and they are going to eco out. That's pretty awesome because I like to see a game where you get up a few mills.
Yeah, both of these players have they took a similar tact in the last game, and they're taking a similar tact in this game. They're matching each other's direction, whether it's building army or it's building econ. Here they've settled pretty clearly on econ. It's totally even.
Yeah, I don't know who Marius is, but clearly not a beginner player, like someone who's played the game. I mean, it's possible this person is like a veteran, a champion I don't even know about, but at least, I saw Marius selling a Warren at one point to get supply block out, and they're obviously scouting well and they're playing the same tactics. One difference emerging
Delphius
here,
is
though.
pushing for Delphius is pushing for the wolf, and Marius is pushing for tier 2 and skunks
Does
and
Marius know
shakes.
about this? Not yet. Let's see. He's going to be suspicious. He doesn't see anything. He goes right there. He finds the wolf.
Oh, good scout. Very good
Great
scout.
scout. And in this case, I kind of... Oh my. Delphius putting down a fox up there as well.
So that's a
If...
lot of economy invested in those tier 2 units, and it'll be a while before they appear. So if Marius wants to make something happen, he'll make it happen now. It looks like he is.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. I mean, they have even squirrel counts. He's only got one of each tier 2, and he's going up a hill. I don't think this is that good of a fight. I mean, he had some more time before the wolf was built. He could have waited 25, 30 seconds. But he's going for it. He's still trying to push, weakening those tier 1. The fox has
Those
actually been
codes were helpful.
sold. So there's nothing really coming for Delphius here. I mean, a pig goes down. Marius, a little bit ahead in eco now, yeah, and he's going to take a few warns. This could be the game if he doesn't lose these tier 2 and overpush. Just taking a couple warns, a couple pigs. I mean, if he gets that mill, it's GG, right? I would probably... I don't know what I would do.
I think so. The wolf is out, but I
kind
think
of want
it's
him
too
to
late for
retreat.
that wolf.
He just lost a lot of troops, though. But there's so few warns for Delphius now, and that mill is about to be gone. Shoot, I think
It's tough to see because he put a lot of investment into that wolf, but now he'd like to hold on. He'd like to make it work. That he's got that unit out.
Yeah, I think Delthius won the first game, but he might be losing the second one right here. There's no way this wolf can stand, right? And yeah, okay.
That's it.
Wow.
Well, that was very well played by Marius. That was a good response to having scouted the tier three and being decisive in building his own tier two and doing a push. Even though it was close at the beginning of that push, he knew that that tier three was going to take a while to build. And in the meantime, he had a small unit advantage.
Yeah, I didn't even think it was a super great push. Like it was a little messy at the start, but you know, maybe I'm wrong because a lot of times I try and wait until all of my troops are built and then I attack. I find that sometimes that gives the opponents enough time to build a little bit of a defense, and you already have an advantage defending in your mill. In this case, he just, just charged right in. He didn't wait to have a full army, but it still worked out.
So let's see. This is a pretty sparse map. There's a lot of empty space in the middle.
I like this map a lot. I mean,
I will say the Marius has a much better starting spawn, at least to my eye, here.
yeah, I mean it's better because it's on the high ground, but I don't feel like it's that crazy. Like, I guess this hill right here, if Delthius gets camped on by some squirrel, some skunks on that hill, that'd be pretty bad. But as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think it matters that much. Right? They both have two bases, and Delthius' second base is also very safe.
Right, and they both do also have some flying units that would give them vision on that high ground.
Right. Yeah, they both have the pigeons too.
But I will say, wherever they pitch a battle here, Marius will have the high ground in that battle, almost certainly, because every inroad to his base is uphill. There's lots of easy places for him to pitch a fight there,
That's
for what
true.
it's worth.
The one thing I would be worried about is Delthius. Maybe this is kind of stupid, but like, Marius
Ooh,
could.
Delthius taking two skunks right off the bat.
I don't understand what the point of this is. Like, the skunks alone don't kill units fast enough, right? Like, you need like a few. They're really good because they deal some ticks and they make it so that you need like one less squirrel shot. But if you don't have any squirrels, yeah, I mean, look, Marius is like, wait, you don't have any
Skunks
tier
and
one?
pigeons. This might be brutal.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I don't know if he should wait a little longer, honestly, like get his full army. But yeah, I mean, he. What is Delthius supposed to do?
He can definitely take a couple of pigs at minimum.
Takes three pigs, and then like, okay, fine. He actually lost a lot of squirrels, but half of them get out. There's nothing to take them out, right? So
I think that's definitely worth it, and you'll see that that farm that he just put down, it was queued. This farm is queued. It's going to be a significant hit to his eco, so he needs to get in and hit back here if he wants to keep the game even.
I mean, still, four skunks is nothing to joke about, but the problem is these squirrels. There's just like, if you had three squirrels or
Oh,
something, right? Like, or some
but look at
moles.
that. Very, very effective against the bunched up squirrels there.
That's true. But like, this is the point where
If
Delthius has to make something happen. Right? Like, he's got these skunks. As soon as this pigeons start to come out, it's a tight game. It might be tighter than we let on it for. Oh wow, he's putting those squirrel horns so far forward. Both players on the same number of farms. But now with the high ground, I think Marius has a huge advantage, right? Although, wow, the skunks, if you can hold them just a little longer, they melt through the entire army. That's incredible.
Yeah, very good use of those skunks by Delthius
Okay,
there.
Marius took a lot more losses in that fight. Delthius' main problem now is all his wards are so far forward, and Marius has started to farm up in the back line.
Yeah, I think that's some of the advantage from that hit by Marius early on Delthius. You're seeing that in that mill and those two advanced farms.
Delthius took a really heavy blow at the start of the game with those 3 farms down, but I think it's starting to equalize. Well, if he manages to get his own farms up, if Marius decides to like rail down maybe like a few more squirrels here, then and just attack with his 3 farm advantage, or put
Looks
down
like
a
he's
wolf.
taking the snakes. What do you think of the snake skunk matchup?
Well, I think it's a terrific decision because Delthius' whole army is just these 4 skunks, right? And the skunks are not very good at dealing with snakes. So the snake can attack every single one of them before it goes down, and 1 or 2 snakes can kill the whole army of skunks.
Now, how many hits does a snake have to put on a skunk to
I
bleed it
think
out?
if
Is it
they,
going to be
yeah, 2 snake hits will bring a skunk to 1 HP. But if you have 2 snake hits and then like a single tick of gas, then that will kill a skunk, right?
right?
Delphius Delphius is trying to be cheeky here, hoping that Marius doesn't spot him out. He's putting down, I guess he spotted the wolf. It's still supply blocked. It hasn't started building. He's putting down some moles. He's got 2 mole warrens right here. And he senses this is my moment to strike. Marius sees it, but what's the army difference? It's just barely more for Delphius. But if he gets the
It
warren,
looks like he's pushing. He's
he
pushing
got
for
the
that
and
one.
he gets the warren, and now he thinks he can leave. He did a lot of damage. He took out the tier 1. He didn't get the tier 2, but he got the wolf warren. And now look at this. Sorry. This is what I want to show you. Delthius has been farming up more in the back line, and also he has some farms that from his first mill that he had to restore. So he actually has the food advantage on Marius now. It's a crazy fight. You can see the snakes are really quite good into the skunks because they can just walk out at the last moment and there's no threat. But it's not the same when the snakes hit the skunks. I also love how beautiful this game is. Like, you just see these red and blue clouds of dust of poisonous gas. I mean, it kind of looks awesome.
Well, it looks like Delphius has managed to hold off Marius, and he's got a small farm advantage at this point. And so, I mean, at this stage, notwithstanding those early gains for Marius, I think that Delphius is probably in a small lead.
That's right. Marius probably realizes there's no way he's going to be able to build this wolf, and he doesn't want to get. Man, that tactic of putting the moles down and just going straight for the warren, I thought that was really, really nice from Delthius. Does Marius know he's here? He finds out now. Skunks in front tanking. The thing is, you could have 1 or 2 skunks tank a bunch of snake hits, and man, the 4 snakes, this venom tagging all the units, and then the snakes run back into the pigeons. This is a really nice matchup against the skunks from Delphius.
Uh,
I think the answer is Delphius needs to just get a lot more squirrels. But the problem is, snake and skunk together, they also counter squirrels, right? From all the gas. That's a really tough one.
yeah, these little fights have been very interesting because neither one of the players wishes to sit in that skunk gate that gas. So they're constantly pushing in to poke and then pushing back in order to get out of the gas.
I really like the snake skunk combo of poke units. Like, you can poke and then you run back and they have to run through your cloud if they want to chase you. And with this, I think just because of the superior, the tier 2, Marius
Oh,
is going to
look
be
at
able to end
that!
this.
Two snakes.
Really,
Two
really
snakes
nice
on one
snake control
HP.
here.
Yeah, really
Imagine if
good job
Delphius had
of.
like 2 chameleons, right? Like, imagine how different this game would be with 2 or 4 chameleons. But with that,
Wow, yeah, really good job by Marius. The snake control was good. Really, using those snakes, protecting those snakes. Now, granted, it's a little bit lower risk when your opponent's also taking skunks. You know that those snakes aren't going to get melted by another unit, but keeping them alive and keeping them in the fight, every time they put a couple ticks on those skunks, you know that that skunk's going to drop, notwithstanding the pigeon. So that was good play.
That was pretty cool. All right, well, let's move on. I was pretty impressed with Marius. Definitely no one to sneeze at, so when I play him, I've got to be on my toes. Next up, we've got
Well, they would.
Marius versus Xnor. You ready for this?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready for more Marius. Let's see. I
Okay.
have to say, I'm already rooting a little bit with Xnor, who's taken my favorite unit in the game.
The bad? Oh, the bullet hive.
That's correct.
You do love the bullet hive, huh?
I have to say, it might be the mark of a lesser player, but there's nothing more delightful than an optimally placed bullet hive.
It's a pretty cool unit. You know, it feels like if you use it um, wildly, then it's a waste of money. But if you spend it at the right spot, maybe to take a greedy extra mill and farm up, and then you can sell them later, it's pretty powerful.
It is also something that it doesn't take so long to build. If you're anticipating an opponent is going to take a fight to you and you've got good scouting on them, you can throw down a bullet hive in anticipation of that fight.
That's true. Well, looks like Marius, both players have a couple tight entrances into their base, and they both have a pretty good next door mill. I think
They
I
do. They
like
both farmed
Exnor's
up.
setup a little better, just because this is very hard to come at, right? Like, you can only come in this
And there's
one little choke point.
Xnor also has a nice pocket third expansion. If the game goes that far, it's very defensible. His mill right now is the most forward mill that he'd take in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think also this one from Marius is also very hard to attack, right? Like, how would Exnor get his army over here without going through this one first, right?
Right.
So I think honestly, this would be a really great base to just take, start farming. There's nothing Exnor can do. It's like it would take so long to even walk over there, scout it. One
Let's
thing
see.
that's
They both
different.
taken the Falcons, so I wonder if there'll be any use of Falcons to sneak over some of these obstacles in order to snipe a couple pigs.
Oh, I would love to see that. I mean, you can easily imagine, right? First, Exnor cues his falcons to here. He walks in and they just fly up and kill the pigs. Like that's a classic tactic. I don't know if we'll see it happen, but again, yeah, I mean Marius could do the same thing here. He could send his falcons right over. They attack the mill. They'd completely dodge the bullet hive. That would be pretty cool. Exnor
And I will
playing a
say, in
little
defense of
a
the
little
bullet hive,
scared.
good, it's a good spot for that bullet hive.
You think this is a good spot for the bullet hive?
I admire any use of the bullet hive. It's just beautiful.
I feel like it's kind of randomly placed. Like you could even, if you had vision, you could have skunks standing out of range, and I think Exnor realizes it as well. And he decides to put
Ooh,
down a
throwing down the
badger.
tier 3.
Wow,
So
already
both
both.
of these players have farmed
Yeah,
up to 18.
16.
16, excuse me.
That's pretty crazy. I definitely like Exnor's team comp more. Marius floating 400 food. Not sure what that's about.
That is a lot of food to float.
Like, it's a lot of food to float. What could his plan even be? Let's find out. Yeah, I mean, Marius played pretty well in that previous series, but this is a very strange choice. Not like floating so much food, it is just objectively a waste when you could be doing something with the food, right? So a little bit of a tempo loss there, and I think importantly, he doesn't know about the badger. he didn't scout the Badger. So he sees the tier 2. He thinks, okay, well now I am going to be ahead. He's not going to be. He's probably just going to. I don't know. What would you do here?
Well,
I guess farm up
even if he
aggressively.
hasn't, even if he hasn't scouted that Badger, he probably has a sense that there is something building that he doesn't have vision on at this point, because both of these players, they've got about the same economy. If you exclude Marius's third expansion, which is all still building.
I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to count. It's not as easy as you say. I think Marius going to be surprised to see this Badger. Does he even see it?
He
I don't
hasn't.
know.
He
I don't
hasn't
know if
seen
he
it
knows
yet.
about it. I don't think he knows about the Badger. This is like the worst feeling in Tooth and Tail. And look, he's floating
And
400 food again.
and the wolf is still building. I think that this is going to
Like
be
this
rough.
400 food could be 4 Falcons, or 6 Falcons. I think this is GG. Look at the army graph.
It looks like, yeah, those toads never reached Xnor's units. I think that's it. Yeah,
It's tough. I mean, there's two things that went wrong. Number one, look at this graph.
yeah,
Right? Like you invested 4 farms of food, sure, but like somehow your opponent got an extra 600 units, 600 food worth of troops. So like,
right. So
how does that math out?
definitely, it's challenging timing to have gone for the expansion to have farms building there, and then also to not have eyes on your opponent's tier three, to not know it's coming. Because I don't think there was vision on that tier three before the final fight.
He never saw it coming. But I think the worst part is just not ever floating so much food. Like he could easily have had 4 to 6 more Falcons. So I guess we'll see how Marius does in the next game. Looks like this game Xnor is taking the boar. Interesting how he just won the game, but he's switching up his deck. Maybe worried about getting countered, or maybe he just wants to practice a bit. Maybe I should study. What does Xnor do when he scouts? It's kind of simple at this stage in the game. You just check. Yeah, they have farms. Right? Okay. They didn't sell everything and build 2 Warrens. I'm good.
It happens.
It's so annoying. I remember
So I'm also seeing that various. Go ahead.
I played some games against Meek and against Deep Sea, where like I thought I was scouting, but somehow like they would take this mill right next to mine, or it would be like literally right next door, and somehow I wouldn't see it on my like multiple scouts, and then boom, I'm getting bullet hived or attacked.
A little bit of mole poking coming from Xnor.
How's it gonna work? He should have sold that farm. Dang. The problem is, Xnor is actually in trouble if Marius pushes right now. Do you see? He has already 1 scroll, 2 more on the way. There's nothing stopping Marius from going right here and taking out 2 pigs. Okay, he starts to see it, but it's going to be too little too late because, yeah, that was a really missed window of opportunity. Xnor waited for so long before going back and getting his Warrens. There was a window to get at least 1 pig, maybe 2 or 3. I mean, if he had, instead of putting down these toad and lizard, if you just put a bunch of squirrels, boom.
Oh, he's getting a little bit of poke. He
I
is
mean, that was
not.
literally the worst attack we've ever seen.
Oh,
I feel so bad, but do you see how he killed no red troops and he lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his own. Very, very
it's tough.
unfortunate.
It's tough, and he did not drop that pig, so that's tough.
He didn't fully commit. The troops kind of went in one by one. Marius, we really loved your gameplay, but this is looking tough. I'm sorry for you. 3 toads against the army.
And the toads, they're challenging because if your opponent is poking you and then pulling back, it's hard to use those toads effectively.
Wow. There we have it. It's a strong 2-0 from Xnor.
Yeah, Xnor did a good job, especially with the bullet hives in game one. I'm a big fan of those bullet hives. But yeah, strong play by Xnor, a lot of pressure, both with the moles and then on the follow up, the counterattack after Marius's attempt to come back.
Yeah. Well done, Xnor. All right, why don't we move to our third series here? This is R22 versus Jason Blade. R22, definitely a strong player. I believe he made it to the quarterfinals or maybe even the finals last tournament. So definitely a favorite to get out of the group. If there's anyone in chat who knows more, pop in and tell us. But let's just kick things off.
R22 taking the fox. Jason Blade taking the boar.
R22 in the
Both
green.
of them have taken they've taken an identical composition other than their tier 3.
All right, looks like we got our scoreboard up. Yeah, so the tier 3 is different though. What do you make of these two decks?
I have to say, so much of the fox's effectiveness, I think, has to do with the terrain that you have to deal with. Whether you're pinched and you have room to maneuver or not.
Yeah.
I do like the boar in the event that they ever do one of these all-out fights where two armies are crashing into each other, but they both have some flexibility. Like there's work you could do with the cams. I'm interested to
kind of
see
feel like
what they
R22 isn't actually trying to get to tier 3. Like, I think he's basically just planning on doing a tier 2 deck, and then if the game, he's not trying to get into like a death ball at least. Maybe if it's scrappy, he pulls out the fox, and it's able to pick everything off at the end. But like, definitely the fox isn't going to win in a big old fight against the boar.
Right.
I think this is just maybe him trying some different decks in the group stages before he's facing the toughest competition. I mean, I know Jason Blade's a great player, but I don't know if Jason Blade is a top 8 player, right? So maybe R22 is thinking I can just test this out and see what happens. But I guess we'll see.
R22 is waiting for the scout on those units to spawn, it looks like.
Yeah, now he knows there's skunks coming. And R22, interestingly, I mean, he's already gotten to a second mill. He hasn't put anything down, but he's going into Squizzard. Yeah.
He does have that mill, but with no farms on it, it's not doing anything productive. It hasn't given him any tangible advantage. We'll see if he builds those farms.
I bet he'll put a farm down and he'll start pulling an advantage ahead. It's not that easy to attack into this as Jason Blade because it's up a hill. And so well, I guess Jason luckily just took his own mill, so he's not going to fall too far behind in food. And he's already got a threatening force that R22 won't want to go into. Now, I want to point out something else here. This is something that maybe like the most advanced players will never fall for, but in a couple of my games, my opponents built chameleons. And I knew they were having tier 2, but then like I never saw the tier 2, and I just forgot about them. And so then I saw like their squirrels and their moles sitting out there, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can attack. Like, I have like a little tempo, like I don't know where their falcons or whatever are, but they're not here. And then all of a sudden there was 4 chameleons on top of my troops.
Let's see. Oh, he's catching out the falcon.
Wow.
Lizards and squirrels are going to pick it off.
So
That
yeah,
was cheeky by Jason Blade. It was a
one
good
falcon killed by
response
the
by
lizards, one by the
R22.
squirrels. That was really terrible for Jason Blade. Yikes. Another thing is, I don't know what this campfire's for. Like, I like the idea of getting a farm, but you have an empty mill here. Just like a little like strategy optimization. I don't know if this is very smart because it takes so much time to build, and then it's easier for your opponent to destroy on their way to your main base, right?
It does give a little bit of vision, but that particular campfire is not very well positioned for vision because wherever your opponent comes from, they're going to be coming from uphill. So you won't see much quicker where they're coming from, what they're doing.
Right. So we're sort of at the point in the game where anything can happen, and what R22 has decided to happen is a fox. I love a fox. Actually, you put this down 55 seconds ago. We didn't pay attention, and guess what? Guess who else has not noticed? Wait, I'm wrong. I guess Jason Blade knows. Luckily, Jason Blade's paying attention to this game.
But it looks like Jason Blade has masked those squirrels. He's got a proper death ball coming together there.
That's true. I mean, that is pretty good against a fox. As the fox player, I'd be scared to try and walk in here. But even so, yeah, I mean, if Jason Blade can just sit here and turtle, he probably has a better comp for this. It's going to be hard.
His position is a little bit more defensible too. If he turtles, it's a little challenging for R22 to grab that third base. It's separated by that terrain. He couldn't get into it.
I like this. He's trying
Oh,
to
here
come in
comes
with
the
one
fox.
chameleon, but it's just one, and the army is pushing the fox out. Yeah, a little unfortunate. Jason Blade going to lose a lot on the retreat here. Probably going to lose a falcon. Oh! Okay, the commander taking some hits. Smart. Oh dear, wow. I wonder what's going to happen. I really
Ooh.
want him to be able to get the fox, but like R22 is too good for this to work. What Jason Blade needs to do is just not attack and go home and get his own boar. But instead, he's going in with his army. And this is the part that the fox loves when you're retreating, right? When you're retreating, the fox just picks you off.
Yeah, he's going to pick up a couple more here.
I mean, R22 losing a lot as well, but Jason Blade resigns. He realizes he can't stand against it.
Good fox control by R22. Jason Blade did a good job pulling around those cams, being strategic about trying to go after a fox. But when you have a player that has really good control over the fox and you've got an open map like that with lots of room to maneuver, it's hard to pin them down.
I think Jason Blade fell into the classic trap, which is like try and chase the fox who has a way to get away, right? The fox is on the road. It's going to be really hard to catch them. What he could try, it's not always easy, but he could just try and build up his own giant army, build a boar, build more, just build lots of troops so that the fox isn't very good if you have one big fight, right? And so if you're able to actually create that big fight with the boar, go in there, like do a ton of AoE against all of the ground troops, I think you're able to clean up the fox in that situation.
Well, and I'm ready also to deliver a pro tip for our viewers. If you wish to counter the fox, you can use the greatest unit in all of Tooth and Tail, the Bullet Hive. A bullet
That is
hive on
true.
every square
That's true. Yeah,
stops the fox in his tracks.
if you build the greatest unit in Tooth and Tail, the Bullet Hive, or
That's
for that matter,
correct.
any of the structures, it is a big counter to the fox. That's probably why you
Well,
love the Bullet Hive so much, huh?
speaking of great units, we have R22 with the mortar.
The artillery. That's pretty awesome. I wonder if he'll be able to actually get it up.
But we also have raccoons from R22. That's another unit that we haven't seen so far in this cast. And Jason Blade has taken the mines.
Mines are pretty cool. I would love if I was R22. I'd love to put an artillery cannon right here on this hill, and then I've got three bases. I can start to creep my army forward. Like, yeah, if he's able to put an arty here, I think it's GG for Jason Blade because there's no way he can safely defend these mills, and he also can't attack in very easily. That would be pretty devastating.
We'll see if he uses it. It's kind of seldom that I see the artillery used, truly defensively. Often I see that players are being cheeky unless they're really turtling up and they're trying to, uh, build three tier
Yeah,
3 units
I
all at
played a game
once.
against QQ where there was like sort of like there was a second path around my base that wasn't accessible the main way. I couldn't walk there from my base, but he put an arty there that was in range of the base. And then once he walked in and had vision of the base, it just started firing. That kind of stuff, that's super hard to deal with.
Looks like R22 has taken the raccoons and he is pulling the raccoon out. Now it's only 2 shots from a raccoon to drop a squirrel. That's a pretty good
Yeah,
matchup
it feels
between
so
those
annoying
units.
as Jason played because you have three squirrels and you're like, I should be able to damage this raccoon, but just three squirrels, like they just get picked off too quickly. If you had a critical mass of like six squirrels against two raccoons, I think it's even better. Now this could be better, but oh, it's three raccoons now. The falcon might do some work, but if the falcon
And the
gets turned
falcon is
on,
helpful. Ooh.
all right, let's see what R22 is going to do. Goes on home, puts down a
We've
farm.
got some mines. We've got some mines coming down from Jason Blade.
That's true. I wonder if R22 saw those or were they just placed?
They were just placed after that engagement, so he does not have vision on these mines. And I don't think he knows that mines are in the deck also.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest, the surprise factor of the mines can be pretty important.
Well, to echo a great caster, the first time you use the mines is the most significant.
Yeah, you're echoing Delthius.
I'm quoting Delthius.
The first mine is the most impactful or something.
Exactly. Now, there's a pretty serious cluster of mines here. If R22 pushes into it, it could be decisive in this fight, but R22 will have to come to Jason Blade if Jason Blade wants to win that engagement.
Yeah, the thing is, R22 doesn't really need to. He has two things going for him. First of all, he has more farms. And second of all, he has a wolf in his deck. And so R22 can just, that's what he does. He goes home, he farms up. And why not? He doesn't think that Jason Blade can attack into him either. I mean, they have equal army. Jason Blade even selling down, going into all Falcons.
Ooh.
Jason Blade taking into a
Now,
lot of tier 2. If these get up, that's going to be great for him. But like,
R22, he has vision on this construction, and so he knows that there's going to be a little bit of a deficit from Jason Blade in the next minute.
yeah, he knows there's not tier 1, but he hasn't seen these 3 extra tier 3 here at the bottom. That is pretty
It looks
crazy.
like he's decided to place his own fox instead of going for an engagement.
Yeah, I mean,
Excuse me.
the problem is I don't think Jason Blade can afford all this. He's down 5 farms. And so R22 is going to be able to catch up. He's going to put down a couple more Falcons. And then his wolf's going to pop.
The players are having the farms on their first base go fallow. So the longer that Jason Blade is only on 3 farms, the tighter it's going to be.
Yeah, R22 doesn't really need to attack. That's the problem for Jason Blade. He can sit home. He has the wolf. He's got a better late game deck. And he can even, if he wants to, he can put down artillery cannon on this hill. And then yeah, and it's going to be tough.
See, Jason Blade has built a couple more farms, but he still hasn't filled up that mill. It's only built one more. he's going to get backed up on his eco because there's only 3 farms left on his original mill, and those are going to fall.
Yeah, and because R22 went so hard into his economy, he can easily catch up in army as well.
Well, there's another component, which is that he's taken this wolf, which is about to spawn.
Yeah, so
And
he's gonna have a
he
strong
can
army.
use that wolf to fight, or he can use that wolf to pump up his economy more.
I don't think. I wonder if Jason Blade knows about the wolf.
Right now, he has a pretty significant advantage.
Yeah, that's the difference between a wolf army and standard army.
Now he is going into the mines, but it's all falcons. So those mines, they're not going to reach the falcons.
So I know we can see like what actually happened was we can see what the players did, which is R22. He built more economy, and then he was able to catch up in army. But what's instructive is looking at like how did they come to their decisions. R22, he saw that there was no attack coming, and so he was able to farm up, and he knew, or at least he believed, he'd be able to hold off an attack when it came later. And then Jason Blade, he put down those mines. He had a really good defensive setup, but then he just went into army before investing in his own infrastructure. I think that was.
Well, it's easy to do when you think that your opponent is neck and neck with you. You don't want to fall behind them in unit count, and so you focus on building units. But if you wait too long to fill out that second mill, you can get stuck in a glut where suddenly there isn't enough economy to sustain your expansion.
All right. Well, that's the end of our Tooth and Tail cast for today. Thanks everyone for joining. And
Yes, we are poor substitutes for Delthius, but we are grateful for
yeah,
the opportunity to cast.
we love seeing the other casts from Evil Murloc, QQ. I think maybe Studios, Unprecedented Studios, and Meek have been casting some. So check those out as well.